Hi world, welcome to Brian A. Law School, your go-to place for good governance and the rule of law. This is Ask Africa Show, and today I'm really proud and really honored to be joined by someone really special to discuss a very, very fundamental topic to us. My guest today is a proud mom of one handsome and bubbly boy. She's a human resource consultant undertaking various functions such as the performance, management, job evaluation, organization review, structuring, training and needs assessment, recruitment and selection, as well as organizational development. Wow. A graduate from Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology, where she pursued Bachelor of Science in Human Resource Management. She's a member of the Institute of Human Resource Management. She's a writer where she writes blogs on mental health and career-related issues, with her blogs dubbed The Secret Place and Your Best HR, respectively. She's a mental health enthusiast. She's a Christian feminist. She's a Young African Leaders Initiative alumni. And above all, she's a daughter of the highest king, born again and sold out to Jesus Christ. She undoubtedly believes in the changing and transforming power of the gospel of Jesus. And because of that, she has lived and encountered this life of transformation. She desires to be used of God to draw many people to God. Her line of calling is to impact people's lives by helping them find their identities in Christ. Her heart beats people. Her passion for mental health sparked when she first got a diagnosis after years of trying to find the problem, and since information is power, she took it upon herself to not only educate herself about mental health issues, but others as well through writing and sharing her personal experiences and her interaction with people going through mental health challenges as well as caregivers. In light of this, she created a Facebook page dubbed The Secret Place, where she writes simplified yet significant posts on the salient menace of mental health challenges. She looks forward to a time where, as a country and continent, we shall have, or rather we shall create a space for users of psychiatry services so they can freely voice their concerns and live without fear of discrimination. Therefore, she is inviting you and I to join this conversation and keep it going until a change is realized. And on the basis of this strong bio, we have Hadassah Muthoni with us. Say hi to our audience, please.
Thank you so much, Brian, for such a lengthy introduction. I'm happy to be here today. Let's talk about mental health.
Thank you very much. So as we have said, today's topic is about mental health, but we shall break it down to depression matters, and more specifically to situational depression. My first encounter with depression, rather I have never been depressed, or maybe I have and I don't know, but there was this girl who was my schoolmate in high school, a very beautiful girl, very sharp. She passed her high school very well. She went to university where she excelled. She got a good job and all that. Her social life seemed to be on point. Her life seemed to be on point. And then just one day she called me after reading my stories of quitting my job and venturing into humanitarian services. She read the story in the newspapers of how I overcame the numerous challenges, and she wanted to meet me. So, but our timings were a bit different, so she could not meet me in the times that we had set. And then a week later, after trying to set a meeting, she was found dead with a suicidal note on her side, on the side of her bed, which was written to her mother, saying, "Mama, you know I tried, but depression won." So that is where I began to realize, indeed, someone can be depressed, but still maintain a brave face or a happy face outside there. So that's why it is important we discuss these issues. And I'd like to invite you at this point to just explain to us what depression is generally, and what situational depression is. Over to you, Hadassah.
Thank you so much, Brian. That is a perfect description of a depressed person. And I like the way you're saying that she wore a happy face, but on the other end of things, she was actually struggling to a point that we sadly lost her. That is very good, because any mental illness does not show on the face. Actually, mental illness is what you're seeing now: eyebrows on flick, lips with lipstick, a smile on my face, hair well combed. We have people who seemingly look well put on the outside, but behind scenes, they're actually fighting battles that no one knows about. So in a nutshell, I would say depression it is not written on the face. Unlike any other illness where we can see someone is lying in bed, they're writhing in pain, they have symptoms that can actually be seen. Depression does not have such kind of symptoms. Although once you know it, once you are exposed to it, you can be able to observe certain patterns in somebody's life, and you can tell this person is depressed. So in a nutshell, what is depression? Depression is a state of sadness or hopelessness. Yeah. And it's good to say this. Every person will sometimes in their lives encounter situations where they feel sad. For example, something can happen to you and you feel low. So it is a normal feeling for human beings. However, when it is extended over a long period of time, now at that point, and accompanied by other symptoms, then we can say this person is depressed. In our society, when you ask such a question, what is depression, people have very different, actually, there are myths that surround that topic. And people will actually, a normal person, a lay person will say, a depressed person is the person who is walking in tattered clothes, they're shouting in the market or in the streets, or they don't take care of themselves. That is not true. Conventionally, we've been wired to believe that the mad person on the street, that is the depressed person. However, any person is susceptible to depression. So we could be having people living with us, very modest, their life is going on, but they're still struggling with depression. So it is a mental and a mind thing. I don't know if I've answered.
Yeah. The point I've gotten really well, and which is important, is that it is a state of sadness and hopelessness, which is elongated over a long period of time, right? Yes. Okay. So what is situational depression? Yeah, because we know there are so many types of depression. Maybe you can just mention them in passing, but explain to us the situational depression, because that's what we are interested in today.
Okay. Allow me to plug in my charger. Just a second, yeah? Okay, sorry about that. I could have blacked out on the world.
It's all right, no problem.
So yeah, thank you for that question. Situational depression. So we have different types of depression. They range from mild, severe to chronic depression. Yeah, and these ones can be put under the category of clinical depression, whereby there's a chemical imbalance in somebody's mind. Yeah, and so at that point they need an intervention medically. However, I'm happy today that we are talking about situational depression, because situational depression is not clinical depression. It is not as a result of chemical imbalance in somebody's brain. Yeah, it is a short-term depression that emanates from a traumatic events. It could be an event, they could be events. So I need to put it clear that it doesn't have to be one major event, you know. It doesn't have to be somebody was raped or you are assaulted. They could be a series of traumatic events that have happened to you, and because of that, they cause a period where you dip into a state of hopelessness for quite a long time. Well explained?
Well explained, really well explained. Yeah. Something else that has come up, which is important because,
All right.
yeah, something else we need to understand. Are you there? You're there, right. Thank you. Are you online?
Yes.
Hadassah, we lost you.
I can hear you well.
All right, all right. Now, we have episodes where someone says, maybe you've failed in an exam, you say, I feel depressed. Or maybe a deal that you were chasing, business deal has not materialized, you say, I'm feeling depressed. So can you please explain to our viewers, what is the difference between having depression and feeling depressed? Yeah. Are you there? We lost you a bit.
Thank you so much. So, okay, so at this point, I need to.
Yeah, go on, go on, go on.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that in my blog, The Sacred Place, I actually wrote an article which I titled "I'm Depressed." And in that article, I was trying to differentiate between normal stress and depression. Actually, I was trying to define what depression is, because, like you're saying, someone can actually just have a tiff with a friend or a colleague, or they're just having a bad day, which is common to every person, and then you hear them saying, I'm depressed. But that phrase is not actually supposed to be used casually, because depression is more severe than being sad. Now, I'm not trying to dismiss that some things can happen in our lives and they make us go down. For example, losing a job, that is enough ground to take you to
We lost you.
a place.
You're saying losing a job is enough ground?
If you're able to deal with that, yeah.
We are having connectivity issues.
Cope with normal life stress through your moods, to take someone to a local. Yeah.
We lost you a bit, where you say losing a job is enough grounds for depression or feeling depressed. I think we're having a bit of connectivity issues. Yes, you're back.
Yeah.
Actually,
Sorry about that.
Okay, we can hear you now.
All right.
So you're saying something about losing your job?
Okay, so I'm saying, in a nutshell, a job, that is enough grounds to take you to a low place.
Yeah.
However, if you're able to rise above that, and you're able to cope with that, and you adjust so fast, that means you're mentally or emotionally strong to a point of dealing with your normal life stresses, okay? But someone who is unable now to deal with the daily happenings that take place in a person's life, then that person can actually now use the phrase "I'm depressed." You get?
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So feeling depressed is temporary, if I may say. It's just a short time thing which you'll bounce out of. but having depression can stay with you for a long time.
Exactly.
All right. So can you please tell us the symptoms of depression? How do we
And
identify?
and it needs intervention.
It needs intervention. All right. All right. Yeah. Can you kindly please tell us the symptoms of identifying someone who's depressed or the symptoms of depression?
Okay. I need to be clear that you can hear me.
Yes, yes.
All right. So when you talk about mental health generally it is the psychological and emotional well-being of a person, and that dictates how someone acts, behaves, or thinks. Okay. So when now we talk about the symptoms of depression, we are going to look at the pattern of how the pattern of one's person thoughts and behaviors is affected. Okay. So behavioral symptoms that one can look out to is sleep patterns, for example.
Okay. Yeah, sleep
You can
pattern.
hear me?
Yes. Yeah, we can hear you. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so sleep patterns, if someone is depressed, they either have little sleep or too much of it. And that is when you will hear someone complaining of insomnia. Insomnia is lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Others sleep excessively. So if you realize such a kind of a pattern, that is it's like an equivalent of a light engine, yeah, in a car.
Okay.
Secondly, it's eating patterns.
We lost you a bit.
Eating patterns.
Eating patterns. Okay. Okay.
So if you realize you lack appetite or you overeat, regular eating habits, that
We lost you a bit again.
I'm
Overeating,
here.
loss of appetite or overeating. Yeah.
Oh, exactly. And then there's neglect of personal hygiene.
Okay. You don't want to shower. You don't want to groom yourself.
Exactly. So you become reckless.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Sure.
There's loss. Yes. Then there's a lack of energy.
How does that
So
work?
you don't have uh, lack of energy is lack of motivation. You actually feel very sluggish and you don't want to do the things that you used to do. So for example, if you're going to work, your productivity goes down.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go on.
All right. And then, so that is behavioral. Those are things that we can observe. So if someone out there observes such kind of behaviors in a person, then that is a red flag. They should be concerned, okay?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, go on.
Yes. The next bit we said, so we said mental health helps you dictate how you think, how you behave, how you think, and how you act. So the next part is feelings. Yeah. So this one is very introspective. If I want these symptoms, once I give them out, I want someone, if you feel this about yourself, then you can be able now to evaluate yourself and assess, am I really depressed? Okay. So are you having feelings of hopelessness? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you yes, are you feeling
Are you feeling? Lost you a bit again.
unworthy?
Wait, we lost you a bit. We had hopelessness and then unworthiness. Uh, Gone. I think we can see you. Can't hear you.
Unworthy. I'm saying, are you feeling us?
Uh-huh. Yeah, go on. You're back.
You can't hear me?
You're back. You're back.
Okay, so all right, thank you. So hopelessness is a feeling whereby you feel there's nothing you look forward to, nothing is yielding. Do you feel like a failure as a person? How are your thoughts? Are they negative? How do you perceive yourself? Okay.
Yeah, sure. Go on.
Yes, so such kind of feelings can make someone, now if someone has those kind of feelings and to the extreme end, are you feeling suicidal?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so if someone is having such kind of feelings, then they're warranted to be told that they are depressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. 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 So suicidal thoughts. That is the creme de la creme of all this.
Oh yes,
Mm.
because it's the epitome now of depression. It's where now you feel you're stuck. Yeah, you don't have a way out.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it ties down to all these things. So when you feel hopeless, you actually feel like you don't have options.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you feel you don't have options, you get desperate.
Mm.
When you get desperate, you make desperate decisions.
Mm.
And that now can lead to death.
Okay. Okay. Um,
Yes.
you had mentioned some of the causes of depression to be traumatic events that you go through. Can you explain whether there are other causes like environmental factors, or are they also genetical factors? Can depression be inherited or hereditary, passed down from the parents to the children?
Yes, that's a very good question. Yeah. So depression is a bold, and even any other mental illness, it has there are different um, factors that can contribute to it. Yeah. So like having a traumatic event can be a factor that predisposes you to having depression. Okay.
Mm.
And then, as we had earlier said, chemical imbalances. So this is beyond you. This is it's not something a pattern or a tendency that you have acquired. It's just like the way I can wake up one morning and I'm having diabetes. Okay.
Yeah.
And also it could be genetic. It could be if your family has a history of mental illness, then one can acquire it. One can acquire it.
All right. All right. Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
So, who can be depressed? Can children be depressed? Can adults be depressed? Can the elderly be depressed? Or there's a specific category of people who can be depressed?
Actually, I should add on to that list. There are
Mm.
people who say that highly intelligent people are more depressed than
Mm.
someone with an average IQ. Yeah.
I hope I'm not depressed.
Oh, you're highly intelligent.
Highly intelligent people.
Okay, it's a myth. It's a myth. You don't need
Mm.
to worry.
Yeah, sure, sure. Yeah.
Yes. So every person is susceptible to depression.
Mm. Yeah.
And that is why we need to have this conversation, because we especially for children, I think we tend to neglect children's emotions.
Mm. Yeah.
We dismiss them, as especially in African context, the way we were raised, the way we were brought up. We weren't allowed to speak to our parents or to our elders. You couldn't actually express how you're feeling.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so because of that, now it has caught up with us in our adult life. So we realize that we harbor emotions. When things
Mm.
happen, we
Mm.
dismiss them. We actually don't confront those issues.
Yeah. Yeah.
and because of that, it gets to a point, you know, everyone has a breaking point, and it gets to a point where it explodes and it becomes an issue.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so it's a point of concern for everyone that mental health is supposed to be taken care of from an early age all the way to adulthood.
Okay. Good. That is well understood. Treatment. How do you
Yes.
fight depression? Can the war against depression be won? Medication, whatever. How do you fight depression?
Okay. That's a good question. I forgot to mention this, that I am a peer member in a support group in Kenya called Users, users and survivors of psychiatric services. Yeah.
Okay.
And the good thing about that organization is that it has users and it has survivors. So if the right intervention is taken at the right time, it is possible to overcome and to win depression. Especially today, we are talking about situational depression. If someone recognizes it early enough and you look for the right strategies or intervention that you need, you can snap out of it.
Okay, so what kind of interventions are these?
All right, so to put it into context, we are talking about today's situational depression, yeah? So we are saying it's just a short-term depression, which is stress-related, yeah?
Yeah.
And particularly, we can say that during this season of COVID pandemic, there are people who've lost jobs.
Yeah.
And because of that, they found themselves, the people who've lost jobs, and because of that, they have found themselves depressed. Yeah, they didn't have an existing mental illness. So just because of the economic status, they found themselves depressed. Yeah.
Yes.
Also, the public health directives to combat corona have immensely affected people. For example, social distancing, where people have been asked to remain in their homes. What this has done is that it has caused people to be distant from each other. There have been too much of social isolation, and because of that, now people have become lonelier, and depression has come into place. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
So for this kind of people, if you realize the symptoms that we have discussed before, whereby you're feeling sad, you're feeling hopeless, you cannot sleep well, your thoughts, you're feeling negative about yourself, the immediate recommendation is therapy.
Therapy, right.
Yes, psychosocial therapy. There's a type of therapy that is called CBT, yeah? CBT is cognitive behavioral therapy.
Yes.
It is a form of therapy that helps you to reverse negative thoughts. Actually, it's supposed to help you identify the source of your negative thoughts. You challenge those thoughts, and then after that, you replace them with objective, realistic.
Okay. Objective, realistic?
Positive thoughts.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Right. How about
So,
medicine? Okay. Proceed. Sorry, I cut you short.
yeah. Yeah, maybe something else something else I can emphasize on is not every depression needs medication.
Okay, right. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Okay. Now, as we wind up, as we conclude, how does the life of someone with depression look like? Remember, in your introduction, we told our viewers that you had an encounter with with a mental health issue. So in reference to your personal encounter, in reference to your personal experience, how does the life of someone with depression or mental health illness, you know how to package it, look like?
All right. Let me just tell you, it is not a beautiful life. It is very ugly. It is a life where you're constantly conscious of who you are. Yeah. It actually challenges your identity.
Okay.
Because it is a, this is a battle. It is a mind battle.
Okay.
And so every time you're questioning, are you worthy? Are you fit in the society? Do you deserve to live? Even when things are actually going well for you, you have a job, let's say you are thriving in your relationships, you still question your identity and yourself as a person.
Sure.
Yeah, and so it's a very difficult place to be in because it have not conquered your private world. And if you've not conquered your private world, then it definitely affects your public world.
Sure.
Yes, so now it translates to very poor relationships. You find yourself highly irritable. You can't tolerate people. Your tolerance levels go down. You can't sustain a job because your productivity is down. You don't have the motivation. You don't have the energy. I can just say being in depression, it's a cry for help.
A cry for help. Now,
Yes.
having conquered depression, what is your advice in conclusion to our viewers watching this who are going through episodes of depression themselves? How would you advise them? As well as how will you advise the people around depressed people? How should they handle this situation?
Okay, thank you so much for that. First of all, I want to let any person who is feeling low, who is in a dark place, I want to congratulate them for choosing to live and facing this day and not listening to the voices in their heads and succumbing to them. Congratulations for just being alive today.
Yes.
However, I want to let them know they could be down, but they don't have to be down. Yeah? Today, you can own your story. You can tell yourself that you are not different from any other person. And I want you to take it as a sickness like any other sickness, like a flu.
Yes.
And once you own it, get the courage to seek help.
Right.
Yeah, don't be afraid to seek help. Look for a psychologist. If you can't afford a psychologist, there are people online who give free advice.
Yes.
For example, in Kenya,
Pardon? We lost you. Are you there?
those who are in Kenya, I know actually any person, there's a group of people called Free Minds Africa.
Repeat. I think in Kenya?
Hi, Brian.
Yeah, I can hear you now. You're saying in Kenya? There are people called?
There's a group of people okay, in Kenya, there's a group of Free Minds Africa.
Yes.
You can reach out to them. They're a group of psychologists, so you can reach out to them and they can offer free counseling.
Okay. All right.
Yes, and yes, and to the rest of people who are not depressed, who don't have a mental illness, please, can we be kind?
Be kind.
Yes.
Right. Anything else, or that's it from you?
Finally, I can say that, as you mentioned, that I am a believer,
Mm-hmm.
and prayer does wonders. There are times in life where we face situations that are beyond us,
Mm. Mm.
and they require an intervention, a higher intervention. Yeah.
Yes.
So I had a preacher say that prayer is what puts super in your natural.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, sure.
So yeah, people can connect with their God, they can enrich themselves spiritually, and they can seek the Savior for strength.
Sure. Sure.
Yes.
There you have it, one. You've had, if you are undergoing an episode of depression, remember you are not cursed. You are not an outcast. Rather, it's just a disease like any other. Seek help. If you don't have depression, be kind. And above all, pray. Because prayer is what puts super in the natural. Here at Brian A. Law School, we encourage you to subscribe to this channel, share widely, watch and like our videos. Thank you so much, Hadassah, for joining us this morning. And from Brian A. Law School, till next time, ciao.